Great stuff. I think I'm live now. All right. So we're still on UX, which is user experience and all that. And today we're going to be talking about what an empathy map is, what's a user persona, and then affinity mapping. And I'm going to show you how to create that. We're also going to learn a new tool. I should have told you guys to basically get this tool, before now, which is called Miro, but it's not hard to sign up. You can even sign up through your Google logins and all that, or you can just sign up normally, but it's not hard. I should have told you guys. So it's another tool apart from Figma. As a UI UX designer, you should know how to use. I'm also going to show you on how to use that and create these things. Okay. Now, what does empathy map mean? Basically what it helps you to do is it helps you to understand your users better, your respondents. It helps you to understand their 4 segments. It helps you to understand them on what they are saying. So from the research that I've asked you guys to send out, right? And that's why I said try to mix them up. Try to ask questions that you can get input either in a qualitative way or in a quantitative way, or in checkboxes and all that, so you can basically have multiple responses. Now, it will help you understand what the users are saying about a particular product, either they are currently using, or if, for example, you actually already have designed your product already, or you have your product life already, and you want people to be able to, you want to understand what people actually say about your product. Now, this is one way to be able to capture, such responses and all that. You're able to understand what your users are thinking when they get to use your products, what the users are doing, and how do they feel. That's basically their emotions. How are they doing? Basically, what actions are they taking and all that. So feelings, the thinkings are the thoughts, basically. So it's in 4 segments. All right. So empathy map is in 4 segments. You capture what the user are saying, what they are thinking, what they are doing, and what they are feeling. So you just need to understand that. So that's what an empathy map is. It helps you to understand in these 4 segments. Now, I'm going to, when I teach you one here, I'm going to go there and teach you on how to create an empathy map. Now, but before I do that, for those who I'm going to use, so I just randomly pick someone. So I'm sure the person is here. I'm not going to mention who the person is. I'm going to use this person work as an example to be able to showcase what I want you guys to do next. Why is this not saying try to connect? Let me just refresh it. Okay. Now, this is what you do. All right, before I carry on how to get your empathy map, because you get your empathy map from your responses. All right. So these are your questions. These were the questions basically. I know the person now before. These are my questions. All right.
Yeah,
So
please, you can't see your screen.
you can see my screen well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
at all, at
I'm not
all.
sharing.
You're not sharing at all.
My goodness. Okay, so sorry about that. I thought I was sharing. This one. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, let me go back to Figma. So you see from my Figma. Can you see my Figma now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah, so I said empathy map, it helps you to understand your users better. It helps you to understand what your users are saying, what they are thinking. Same means, do they like me? It could be, for example, are they satisfied using your product? Do they like it? What are their thoughts? When you ask them about your product, what are their thoughts and all that? What are the users doing? What actions are they taking? How are they feeling about your product? What are their emotions to it? So all these things, you're not going to analyze them through the questions you've asked. You're going to be able to group them to which questions fall under saying, which questions fall under thinking, which questions you think fall under doing, and which questions you think fall under feeling. All right. And then once you've been able to analyze that, the answers there is what you now then would reward to be able to fit in on that. So I was saying that you're going to create Miro. I forgot to tell you guys to sign in another. It's not just type www.miro.com and just put that on the chat now. It's not www.miro.com. Now, this is another tool you get to use as a UI UX designer to be able to create different things and all of that. Things like empathy map, you can use that for your personas that I'm going to be teaching you today. You can use that for your affinity mapping, information architecture, user flows. We'll show you all of this as we proceed. So all you just do is just sign up. 2 ways to sign up. You can either sign up using your Google logins to be able to log in, or just sign up normally. You put your email and password. It's very straightforward, and it will bring you here. All right, it's a very straightforward thing. Now, bringing me down to this person's work. I said I'm using one of your work, someone here to be able, I'm not going to mention who. I'm going to just use to be able to create an example, but I would not do every single thing. All right, it's just to be able to teach because I need something real to be able to conduct this. Now, for those of you, obviously, these were your questions and these were your responses. All right, so if you click on the responses, you would have gotten something like this. All right, now what you can do, two ways you can do to export this because you're going to analyze this. All right, you can either click on view in sheet. When you click on view in sheet, what happens? It opens your Google Sheets. That's just it. It just opens to Google Sheets and all that. But first of all, make sure that your Gmail has been logged in so that it doesn't require you to start signing in and all of that. So if you open up this, it opens. You can see this plus sign there about here. I've opened it already on Google Sheets. Now, if you want to open it, through your Excel and all that, you can actually download the CSV. Just click on the three dotted lines here for the menu and download responses. It's going to come in as a CSV format. It's still like an Excel. It's just a different extension name, which is it's a different extension name, but it can actually still open through your Excel and all that. So you will go to your downloads and then you can pick that up from there. So anyone is fine and whoever works for you. Now, for the purpose of this, I just clicked this because my Gmail was already signed in. So I just clicked this instead of having to go here, download, open, and all of that. So I just clicked viewing sheets. Then it opened me a new tab. Now, this is what you're going to now then do to be able to analyze. Like I said, the first thing I'll say is to do is get a pen and a paper and try to group these questions. Now, how you're going to group it, that's something I'm going to kind of show you how I basically analyze here. The one way I always say is try to understand it. The easier way is use ChatGPT to be able to know which questions fall under saying, doing, this and that. But I like to teach people the two ways. It's not left to you to be able to know which one you want to do, but try to also learn the logic behind it. So I'm going to use this person's work to be able to analyze my so I'm going to use this person to analyze my, I think the first one is, which one did I? The first one is it doesn't matter what comes first or what comes second. But let me even open this so that you see. I think, let me show you what it looks like for an empathy map. Is there somewhere? Where is it? I'll be sending this to you as well. No worries. Give me a second. I'm opening up something just to show you. All right, so this is what an empathy map looks like, and this is how you're going to design it on Miro. Okay, I'm going to send you this as well. Now, this is basically where you're going to put what your users are saying, and I'll tell you how to do that, what your users are thinking, what they are doing, or what they do, and how do they feel. All right, I'll explain all of this. I'm going to design this as well using the Miro. Now, like I said, you take a sheet of paper and you try to group your questions logically, which I'm going to show you. I'm going to try and at least pick up one each from each of them at least, because I don't want to do the person's full assignment. All right, and then, or like I said, the easier way you can use ChatGPT. Well, I'm not going to always encourage that. Now, so the first one we're going to talk about is saying. So I'm going to try to at least look for one question here that talks about saying and try to analyze what the saying may be and all that. Okay, now let's look for one saying. How satisfied are you with your current remittance services? Satisfied. How satisfied? Meaning that I want them to give a response. I want them to say something. So you just have to think about it logically and all that. So for me, I will classify this as saying, and I'll write it down on the paper. This question falls under saying. So whatever answer that is here, and I'm going to teach you how you basically will do that. It's what would fall under the same segment. I'm not going to give any other thing because I don't want to do the person's work. Just try to classify things and all that logically. Now, the next one is thinking. Let me look for, have you encountered security issues? That's not, I think it has to be something you ask them, they have to basically think and all that. I think this one can fall under thinking. How visually appealing do you find your remittance app? How visually appealing? Yeah. If someone asks you, how do you see your app? You have to think first, right? It makes you think. There's a thought in your head. Yes, I think I like it. No, I don't think I like it. So I think I'll classify this under thinking. I've told you the two ways you can do any of them, the easy way out, or you can logically try to understand that. So I'll classify this as thinking. Remember, it doesn't have to be that only one will fall under. I'll tell you assignment when I get to that. So you classify all your questions and all that. Feeling, anything has to do with emotions, anything that has to do with what they could be worried about, anything has to do with, something they could be scared about, I'm going to classify that as feeling. What improvements or features would you like to see? That's not anything that will give me like a feeling of emotions or something they're scared about. What importance? Let me see the question. How? I don't think I've already classified that one. Have you ever encountered security issues fraud with Ramadan? I think I classify this basically as feeling. I know that because users definitely will be worried. Now, as a user or a new user, if you're trying to use an app, the first thing you're going to always that has to do with money. The first thing that comes into your mind, your emotions, your feeling is, are you sure this thing is safe? In fact, to be honest, when we get to use most of this app for the very first time, we're actually scared that this would actually go through, that there will not be any issues, especially if it's the big money you're trying to send to someone and all that. So I will classify this as feeling. So you just need to basically understand it. Like I said, saying is what the users are saying, something they would have to give, either a positive response, yes or no, satisfied, not satisfied, or they're complaining about something. I think I will also put that as saying and all that. Then thinking could be what the users are thinking and all that. Do they like something? Do they not like something? Are they happy about something? Does it meet their expectations? They have something that will make them think and all that. Feeling has to do with something that has to do with the emotions. Are they scared about something? How, things like that, would fall under. And then the doing, I like to pick my doings basically from the challenges and problems they could be facing and all that. So, that's basically where I pick my doing from. All right. So I'm going to look for something that talks about problem. I don't know where her problem is. Something that talks about problem. How visual appealing, how efficient is that's not a problem. What improvements or feature that you're just asking them what is not a problem. Okay, she has one here. What problems or challenges are you facing and all that? So yes, I'm going to then put this basically. So this, I'll classify this as part of, I'll classify that as in anything that would make an what makes problem is one of it for doing. Another one for doing could be in terms of what customers, what they actually like more, what they are currently doing more, what they currently English, what they let me look for if there's a question here that I can explain this better. So this is one. I'll classify your problems, challenges under doing. Let me see if there's any question. Yes, but for example, this is another question I can classify under doing. What remittance app do you use? Like the action word, doing is an action word. Yes, that's what I was trying to remember. Doing is an action word, something, they are currently doing, their, action and all that. So I get to see basically that a lot of person here tends to use lemfi and all that. So I'll classify that as my users basically, are used in doing, they basically do lemfi and all that compared to other different remittance services. All right, so I'm not going to go further to be able to, I don't want to generate more of this. If you kind of understand what I'm actually doing here, please put up a Y. If no, put up an N. I expect everyone to please give comments so I get to know. I'm only getting 2 responses. Please put up on the chat box if you understand what I'm doing. If you just get the logic, that's the point. You just have to get the logic. Okay. So I'm getting a mix of Y's and I'm getting a mix of N. Okay. All I'm just saying is analyze your question. All right. Now there are 4 segments you're going to analyze your question. Number 1 is what are the users saying? And I gave an example. I don't want to give more example because this is someone's work. And I've said that, for example, anything that has to give you the yes and no most times could be, just read the question basically before. Don't look at the answer, read the question first. How satisfied are you with your current remittance services? You're asking. So you need them to say something, right? So they basically say they're satisfied or they're not satisfied, they're neutral. There could be other questions here that I'm saying, but I don't want to, because it will not be fair to use one person's work and give all there. But I needed to give an example close to what you guys are doing. If I bring up something different, you guys may get more confused and all that. So that's why I said to use someone's work to be able to at least bring out one thing out. Do you understand the saying part now? Something that would make, you're asking them a question and you need a reply from them. You classify that under saying to basically to get to know what they think about, if they're happy about a product, they're not happy about a product. So just saying talks about if they're happy about a product, they're not happy about a product, they're satisfied about a product, they're not satisfied about a product, another, or what the users are saying, what improvements. I'm actually giving another saying. There was one that talked about improvement feature that I said, I know that, but I'm really giving that. This basically can go on that saying as well. The one that talked about improvement. Where is it? What are the improvements? This is saying. So that means the people are saying that they want better exchange rate. They want improved customer. Does that make sense now? Do you understand this one? Please proper why. For the saying, do you understand that? I don't want to keep giving more examples. I just, it's someone's work. It will not be fair to every other person. Do you understand the saying now? Great stuff. All right, let's move on to the next. Now, the next one basically is thinking. What are the users thinking? What would you ask? What questions would you ask at the end of the day? You'll be able to understand, that would make the users basically would think before they obviously respond. So you actually get that from your question. And I said from the thinking and all that could be, for example, okay, let me just give a random example. If you give an example and say, okay, which remittance app do you frequently use? Sorry, I think this basically is not doing, it's thinking. Sorry. Yeah, because I just had to ask that question again and all that. Which remittance app do you usually use? So if someone basically has more, one or two user app, they have to think which one I use more. So if you have two banks and maybe you have GTB and you have maybe, for example, First Bank, I say, which bank do you actually use? You have to think, I use GTB more, so then I put GTB. So anything that will make them think, they've got options on. All right, so they have to choose, basically if which one they actually frequently use more or and all that will be classified. Anything that will have to make them think before they basically will respond and all that, it's it's under thinking. That will make them thinking. They have to think first and all that. That can be generated from the question before you can actually give your answer. Another one again could be if you say, if you ask a question, this is something different. I don't want to use this one. Let's say if you ask on the thinking, how important is real-time transaction tracking to you? Or real-time transaction, how important is you monitoring a real-time transaction? How important is that to you? That's a question you have to think. It's very important to me because of blah 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 blah. Or if there were options, they will not then choose. So, like I said, you choose you classify this from the question. So you just have to ask the question and think: does this fall under thinking? Does this fall under saying? Does this fall under? You just have to logically think. You can see, for example, initially I said what I was doing, and I had to think about it. I say, no, which remittance app do you use? So I'm just picking this randomly. And I have to say, oh, this has to be thinking, because if someone basically has two other options, they have to think which one they basically use more before they give a response. So you just have to logically analyze and all that. That's just it. You just have to analyze logically and all. So, do you understand the thinking part now? Please proper why you understand the thinking part. Something that has to make you analyze, to think before an answer is being given. Please, everyone, drop a comment so I get to know that we're all following. Great stuff. Now let's move to the next one. The next one is what they are doing. Now, I like to say this one is action word, what they are actually doing and all that. To me, where I actually picked this doing from is basically from, where is this? I picked that from challenges, what challenges they're actually facing, what problems they're actually facing, because that's something you want, the users want. Okay, another way to talk about it. This is what the users want you to do. All right, that's when you can understand it. The users want you to be able to fix something. they want the company to be able to do things, right? Now, what do they want you to do? They have challenges, basically. They have problems, pain points they want you to address. Thank you, God, Holy Spirit. So they basically want you to be able to fix these things. And one way you can actually get that is basically looking for any question that has to do with problem statements, something that will make them be able to. And I think I remember I said, if you can actually create that as qualitative, for them to, write something, or you can decide to create check boxes and then put different problems and then see which one people are actually talking about that they want you to do. So it's like a problem you're going to solve and all that. Do you understand the doing now? Okay. The others that are not saying anything, I hope you understand though. Okay. All right. Now, the next one is feelings. So you just have to just logically, it's just analyzing and all that. You just have to analyze. It's just like a data analyst. You just have to give you data. You have to analyze. You have to think. There's no easy way out. You just have to think, how should I do this? How should I do that? You just have to question yourself, think more logically and all that. That's just how to do this. All right. Now, the feeling basically has to do with if you're concerned about something. If the question basically is going to relate to something that would make the users feel concerned about something, or something that has to pose into about your security, something that has to that will either make them feel worried. A question you're trying to get to figure out, if they're worried about something, if they're scared about something. And I said one perfect example I saw from here was, I've seen about two or more, but I'm only going to pick up one because it's someone's work. I talked about security breach. This one. This is you're asking them a question. Have you ever encountered security issues with your remittance services? If yes, please describe what happened. Now, it's something, obviously, if you've had bad experience or bad customers, it's an emotion. So you're going to type and say, okay, maybe if for example, this person actually basically made this a qualitative whereby people can actually type responses. The person would type a lot of issues that they've got. They are pointing at their emotions in their text, right? Now, for example, this person actually decided to put up options and all that, knows and okay, any. So basically, this person, their respondent don't have any issue, on this particular one. So, but another way I can reward this question could be, do you basically have how do I reward it now? Do you fear for security threats when getting to use a Lemfi app for the first time? That is trying to get their emotion about how do they feel. So something that will make them, about how they feel about something, or basically about, are they going to be scared about, are they scared about something? Anything that has to do with, their feelings, anything that has to do with their security, anything that has to do with, if you're worried about something and all that, you classify that on feeling, because we feel and all that basically. So you just need to understand that logically. Do you understand this last one now? Please put a Y if you understand this. Okay, great stuff. Great. Now that you've supposing if you understood this now, all you now do, like I said, is get a sheet of paper, classify each of all these things into all the questions that fall into this, all the other ones that fall into. You may have some that have more, some may have less, one or two. It doesn't matter. Just classify that. Now I'm going to teach you how to analyze that. So that's the first step you've done. The second step you would now then do is be to come and create a mirror. Like I said, you just sign up either through your Google logins, or you can just create a normal sign up and all that. It will give you this dashboard. All right. Now, when it lands here, just click on new board, and then a new interface will then come up. All right. You can decide to close this and all that. The untitled here is for you to name your board. Maybe, for example, I want to call this. You can name it whatever you like to call it. So I'm going to call this maybe TMA, just for this. So I'm just going to say TMA, and I just click out. Now, you should expect something to come up here. I'm waiting for that to load. I don't know why it's taking time. I'm waiting for it to load. So this is just the board. It's called a mirror board and all that. So we're going to design some things here. It's very easy. It's not anything big. I don't know why it's wasting time. Let me refresh. Okay, it's come up. So in case if there's a delay, just give it some time. If not, you can just refresh, it will come up. You need to see these are basically where you have your two panel and all that. Okay. Now, remember I told you this is how to create an empathy map. I'm going to send you this. All right. So that means you're going to create 4 boxes and a circle in the middle. And I'm just going to show you how to do that. Now, if you come here, you have to look for your shape tool for you to get your boxes. So we're going to click on the shape tool here. You can see the different shapes, and you click on your rectangle. So I'm going to just drop a box. Supposing this is the size I want. All right. Now, I want to make the size the same across all. Just click on your Alt on your keyboard and then left click and drag. Instead of having to create, or if you want, you can decide to create the same box. So, but you have to make sure that they are of the same size. So you don't create different. This one is smaller, this one is bigger, and all that. So I'm going to duplicate this 4 times. And all I'm just going to bring this a bit closer. So make them, join together. Then you click on your Alt on your keyboard, then you left click and drag down. That's just how to do it. So if I click on this, Alt, left click, you can see there's a duplicate coming up, and then I release my hand. I'm going to click again, Alt, left click, and then there's a duplicate, another. So in that way, you can actually ensure that you have made the same boxes. So if you look at this and look at this, you can see I've gotten that. Now, the next thing you do is to drop a circle in the middle. Now, the circle is where you're going to place your image of the user. All right. So remember we said an empathy map, we already talked about, and I'm able to understand the users, what the users say, what they think, what they feel, what they do, and all that. So we're going to then come back to your shape tool and then click on your circle. And we're going to just draw a circle. And that's it. Now, another thing we're not going to now then do is we're going to make, because you can see it's a transparent background, so we're going to give it a color of white. All right. So you can decide to highlight every single thing. And for you to highlight, just click on your shift, hold down your shift, and then highlight every single thing. So you highlight, this is what I did. I held down on my shift button. I left click 1, left click 2, left click 3, left click 4. I have highlighted that one. I think I also need to also put here as well. So I'm going to also highlight the circle as well. So I've left clicked everything. You come here and you're going to give it white, a white color. So you come to this one that says set color and opacity. So I'm setting the color to white. Now this is for borderline. I want to make it a bit thicker because it's a bit faint. So I want to maybe just, just so it can be well visible. That's just what I'm doing. So it doesn't have the same line with the outer background. If you understand what I've done so far, please pop up a Y and all that. If you don't understand, please pop up an N. This is very easy to do. You can do this in, like I said, less than 5-10 minutes. Great stuff. Now, maybe one thing you can also tend to do so that I get to understand that this is an empathy map. All right. You can come to your shapes and then drop a rectangle somewhere here and then just write a text. You can really drop a rectangle, you can write stuff and say maybe, supposing what are you working? Your guys are working on your finance. Maybe you can try to give it your remittance app. Give it any name of your choice. All right. But I'm just going to let's say TMA finance financial. And just call it TMA financial empathy map. Remember, it's your project, so you can give it any name. Now I'm just going to have type in. So these are just something very easy. Just increase and for your text. When you type in, that will come up bold and all that, just so that I can understand that basically this is your empathy map. That's how to do it. It's not hard. Now, for you to get in pictures, so this is where you're going to put in a picture for your users, all right? For your user rather. So what you do basically is you click on this plus sign down here, you come to your upload. It would ask you where exactly do you want to get from. I want to get from my device. Supposing you have to have downloaded the picture first from your, to your desktop, and you guys already know where you can get pictures from. I'm just going to use anything here just to show you. Remember, you can get pictures either from Unsplash, download it to your laptop, go to www.unsplash.com, download it to your laptop, or basically, or through FreePic and all that. So when you get your picture and all that, just resize it in case it's too big and all that, and then just place it here. That's just all. Now the picture has it can be a fictional picture. It doesn't have to be a real picture of any user. It can be fictional. Okay. Now that's how to get this done. So you're done with this. You can see here it says user. Now, the next thing is that we're going to write a word that says here, it says what the thing does and feels. So says, thing, does, feel. Very easy. What do you do next? You will come, where is it? You would come and take your text to here. All right. You click on that, and then you're going to type. I think it's the first one. It says, and because it's so small, I'm going to increase it here. Oh no, that's too big. Maybe 36 should be fine. Maybe make it bold. Okay. So for you to make it bold, you have to maybe highlight it and then make it bold. And then you cannot then bring it somewhere down here. So say says, and the next one is think. Now you come back to your text and you click on thinks. Now, if this is too big, you reduce it again. Maybe I can decide to reduce all of them to 24. Maybe 24 should be fine. So says, think, and the next one is does. Maybe yeah. So you can actually make a duplicate of this. Like I said, just click on one of it, Alt on your keyboard, left click, and you drag down instead of having to you click it on that. So I'm just going to change this to does, and it should be filled. You're done with the second side of it. Now, the next thing you now then do is this. I need you for your assignments a minimum of 3 of what the users are saying. A minimum of, so you would have grouped your questions, meaning that you would have grouped your questions and all that. But in case, just in case, you have 1 or 2 that maybe, for example, from your question, you have more from saying, maybe you have, let's say you've got 10 questions and you've got 4 of those questions are being worded in the same format. Maybe 3 are being worded here on thinking. That's 7. You got 2 that on does and only 1 on feel. No problem. Right? No problem. So someone will not say, oh, but you said 3, but all my questions don't, is not up to that. Then no problem and all that. But at least a minimum of 3. Supposing if your questions cut across, then that's fine. All right. So what I will need you to now then do is this. You click your sticky notes. Now for each of these boxes, give a particular sticky note color. So if you're using says, that means if you're using this color, I need, if you basically want to put 3 of this, you can reduce it if you need to. And then use the Alt to drag and Alt drag. I need the same color on this. Your thing should be a different color so that it's easy to be able to. So all I do is come to the sticky notes. So if this is what I want, then I use my Alt to make a duplicate, my Alt and left, I think I've said that, and arrange it nicely and all that. You pick another one, a different color. Pick a different color, but make sure that the colors are something that when you type as well, it can be readable, all right, to avoid contrast. All right, to avoid contrast. You don't have to pick the colors I'm picking. I'm just randomly picking colors. Now, this is what you now then do. How do you now then put in the things you need to put inside of it? So supposing, for example, I'm just going to only give 1 because I've already showed you already. I've drafted all the questions out. So I'm going to give 1 for saying, which is this one. So let's say this is part of my saying and all that. Now, how am I going to reward it to be able to put that there? So I look at it. The question says, how satisfied are you with your current remittance services? Now, I can see, you can decide to count and all that. Okay, I can see that I have 3 options, which is satisfied, neutral. I think they should be not satisfied, but I can't see that here. But I can see that satisfied basically, there's a lot of satisfied. Now I'm going to reward this question because some of us didn't get our questions rewarded well. All right. So I'm going to reward this question. I can say there's a lot of satisfied. So I'm going to say that users are satisfied, users are happy and satisfied using a remittance service. So that has validated that even the app you're trying to build, a lot of people are always satisfied using that to be able to provide, money transfer services, to people. So you just reward it nicely and just put it. So your questions and the answer, wherever that is the highest, so you're analyzing from your data. Wherever that is there, you analyze it to say, for example, this one, for example, we talked about this. Have you ever encountered? I said this one should fall under feeling, right? So I will now then go, if I see that a lot of people are saying no, then I can say basically I will reward it and say users do not have security issues when it comes to remittance services. maybe due to the fact that there is a protection on the service, just reward it nicely. Because I can see that there are a lot of no's and just one yes. That only one person has encountered security issues. So I'm going to give it to the majority. So you just reward it nicely. So for this one, how satisfied are you with? I'm going to say users are satisfied using a remitter services for their online transaction. You just reward it nicely because the highest is saying they are satisfied. And then you come to your mirror. So this is what they are saying. Click on your text. And then you just type the same thing I've just said. Users, it's big, but I'm going to reduce the text size. Users are satisfied using the remittance service for their online money transfer. Money transfer. Okay. Now it's too big. Or you just come here, you reduce it, and then the same thing you do on Figma, you then adjust it so it just balance. And if it's too big again, let me say 7. Okay, I think the highest it can go is, so that means you may have to increase your box. You can see my box is too small and all that. But anyways, you can adjust it from here. And then maybe something like this. So that's just basically it and all that. So this will not then tell. So imagine if you had put 3 of these things on saying. Now someone comes and read and say, okay, users are actually satisfied when they use the remittance app for their money. This or that, this is what they are saying. Then the doing, these are the complaints they're talking about, the feeling, these are their, the security issues or their concerns. This is what they're thinking about, and all that. Another way for thinking could also be in terms of when you talk about thinking could also be how do they want something, it could be about what feature you want them, you're trying to propose. I think somebody actually put one about features and all that, and all that. Maybe I want social feature to be there, maybe customer service support, so they're thinking that they would want this and all of that. So that's how to do it. So a minimum of 3. Do you understand this part? That's just all. That's all you do on your empathy map. Merit.
Yeah, so my question is, like the way you've rewarded that particular one, is that the same thing we are going to put on the 2 other boxes?
No. So the 2 you have to, that's why I said you have to first group all your questions that fall under saying, doing, and all of that. So I already picked up that first question as it falls under saying. Then if I do have another saying question, I will now then go through the majority, what people are actually saying. If it's a tie, you can say, okay, most users are actually saying this. Why, most other ones are actually saying that. You just reward it nicely to be able to, for anyone to be able to read and say, okay, these are what users are saying. So it's like you're taking a survey. Like when you're taking a survey, you're taking is it consensus or whatever. You're trying to basically get to know what the higher number of people, what they're actually saying. If there is a if it's 50-50, basically, you actually say, okay, most users are saying this, some of them are actually saying that. Does that make sense now?
Yeah, okay. That means if you reward them, for example, the first question deals with saying, you reward it and then you put it on the first box. Then you meet another question that deals on saying, you reward it and put it on the second box, right?
Exactly.
Then if you're trying to reward it, you're rewarding, like trying to put what they have said in an affirmation, like affirming what they have said. That's rewarding it, right?
Okay. Whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Good stuff. Does everybody understand this? We are done with empathy. Do you all understand this? Please proper why, please. Or if you don't. Okay, great stuff. So that's it. That's basic. You can do this, Gabriela. Yes.
So sir, I wanted to say something. If we just have one saying, that means we just have to have one sticker paper. Is that it?
Yes. If you have one saying, that's why I said you can just. But maybe what you can now then do is this. If, for example, I have a different. If, for example, basically, like that's why I said, if there is a tie, maybe you get to see that a number of persons, maybe for example, all are saying yes, and a huge number of persons are saying no, maybe there's a tie. You can say most users are actually saying this and this and that. You reward it on that. And while most users then on the second one, you can then say most users are actually saying no because of this and that and that and that. So you just reward it nicely.
Okay.
Okay. Great stuff. All right. Moving over to the next one. So the next one basically is user persona. This one is very, 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 very easy. Now, what does user persona? What does it mean? It's just a fictional character. It's just like, you know, like they say in a ship, right? There's only meant to be one captain, right? Representing and all that. So your user persona is just one person, which is fictional. Fictional character mean that it doesn't have to be a real person. So the details you're going to put in there doesn't have to be someone who is real. All right, it's just fictional. You can get a fictional, you can put a fictional name, a fictional image, just get an image anywhere. But at the end of the day, you're using that person to be able to address the certain number of persons you have put in there. One of the things I forgot to tell you, I think one or two of you actually put that was on. I think some of you put demographics like age and all that. Now this is where it comes in. I should have actually said that. I think I don't know if I actually said that, I can't remember, but I do know that when I was checking some of your surveys, most of you actually put, and I really recommended that. I shared those that came in on Tuesday. You see, these are the benefit of coming in on Tuesdays, because sometimes there are things I could have maybe missed out on a Saturday. Somebody would ask that question, and then that would say that, because I think it was on a Tuesday that was talked about, and a lot of persons who came in picked up that from there. Okay, so basically it helps you, their component, it helps you to put up an image that represents the last set of people you have actually reached out to. You give a fictional name, just form any name and give demographics, age, and all of that. So if basically you put up a demographic on age, then you do a survey, the number of persons and their ages and all that, do they fall into a higher category of this? Then you say, okay, my category of age falling between 18 to so and so and all about that. Then you need to have a tagline. You need to have a tagline. Maybe I'll just forward this as well to you guys on your assignment, just to guide you guys as well. But I'll try to my best to show you how to design it. Your tagline or summary is summary of what the users are saying. So basically, it's basically studying your survey questions and the answers, and trying to pick out what are majority of people actually saying about using the remittance app. What are the users actually saying? I think one way you can actually pick that up would be from either from features, anything question has to do with features, anything has to do with problems, or something that they're complaining about that they want to solve and all that. That's one way you can pick up the summary of what the users are saying and all that. Then another one would be for challenges, pain points, or frustrations, needs and desires. What do the users need? I think the pain points and frustrations are very easy to understand. What are their problems and all that? The goals, what do they expect the app to achieve? Things like that. We're going to actually talk about how to get to do that. It's very, 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 very easy. Now, this is how you get to do it. I'll try and send this as well to you guys as a step. And all that. Let's where is it? Mirror. So now that you've done this, why not you should now then do? Let me just make a copy of this here. And then you would not then change this to user persona. All right, user persona. And I've told you it's just a fictional character and all about that of all your users. So it's like someone representing every other person you have interviewed or you have given a survey to. I'm just going to pick one of these and all that, just also because I don't want to create, but you can decide to come here and create the shape. All right, but I just want to just pick one of these. I've already created that. Now I'm going to draw this like this, and then I'm going to draw different boxes now. Let me just pick up this box, maybe somewhere here. And this will be where my image would be. Maybe I'll give it a different color so I know that's where my image is going to be. Maybe let me give it this color and all about that. And let me give here where my demographics, I'm thinking, make it more like this. Give more space. So here's the picture. Should come up with more like this. Then maybe here give it a different color. So I know that's where my demographics is going to be. So to give color, come here, maybe color should I make it to this? Maybe this color, I don't know. Something that would, when I type, my wordings will show well. You can also reduce the opacity, like and all that. In case if it's too whatever, you can also do that. Okay, so maybe let me just do this and increase the opacity just to show you guys that one. All right, maybe something like this. All right. So here will be my image. So let's imagine that this was the image. So I've already brought it here. I'll just do it like this. I've already showed you guys how to do an image, how to get an image. Now that this would be something like where my image would be. Maybe something like this. And then this is where I'm going to write my demographics. Now my demographics basically, okay, let me drop everything and then I'll show you. Let me just drop everything first of all. Then maybe this would be my tagline or summary. I just need to bring this down a bit. Then this would be maybe this one should come up with this because this one is just a short this thing. So 1, 2, maybe 3. Okay. Now this is for my image. This will be where I'll then write in my demographics. So come here and pick up text, and I'm going to say maybe give a different, give a random name. Let me say John Doe. Can give it any name, and I'll just increase it. I think maybe I'm fine with this. Give it a bold. If I give it a bold, you have to highlight it and then give it a bold. All right. So I'm happy with my fictional name. So if it's a guy, give one name. Then the next will be maybe demographics. I listed some of them. So I'm not just going to fill up this because I guess you guys should already know what to fill up there. So maybe age. Maybe if you have if you have any demographic, but if you don't have, just give any fictional. For those of you who don't have, no problem. Just give any fictional and all that. But for those of you who have, just put whatever you put in there on your survey. You can start to put in maybe okay, let me say nationality, self-education. I listed some of them here. Listed some of them here, like on the board. I said age, gender, location, income. So it can be anything that has to do with demographics. Okay. So I just listed some. So it doesn't have to be what I'm just doing. Just any you already know what demographics. So anything that falls under demographics. Maybe last one I decided to put here could be income. Maybe just to kind of know, maybe their income. I don't know. So meaning that if you say age, you should have the here will not then be the answer. So maybe if the age group is, for example, you can decide to use one age. Maybe people that you're basically speaking to are 20 years old. If you're speaking to a different band, maybe for example, I think the band is it 18 to maybe 35. Basically the age band is this, so you can put something like this. Okay, so then I think I'll just make too bold. Let me just unbold them. Another, yeah. So you just feel it. So if the gender, if you have males and females, you can side put males and females. Or you can just put one person here and all that. But I'm going to also tell you something. When you're creating a user persona, if you're creating one user persona, you must have one empathy map. If you're creating two, there are some persons who create two personas, then you should have two empathy maps. So one persona for one empathy map. All right. So don't, some people you may get to see personas and you see one for a male, one for a female. In fact, I'll just say, just make it easy, just create one. So if you're going for one gender, just go for one gender, just to make things much easier and all that. All right. So if you want to create two of this, if you want, but for the assignment is just one. If you want to create two, then that means you have to create two of these empathy maps. All right. So that's just one thing I just remember just to say and all that. So you just feeling all of feeling all of this. And let me just put it in here as male. And that's just it. You're just feeling you've gotten the demographic. This basically talks about your professional summary. So basically, it's called you can call it tagline or you can call it summary. So either you can call it a tagline or you can call it a summary. So it just summarizes basically what the users are actually saying or what they basically want and all that. Maybe I can say the users want an app that can maybe that is easy So you can reward it much better. I'm just thinking on my head, and I'm not really coming down to really reward it nicely. You just want an app that is easy to use and maybe easy to use. I'm just not good, but you can put in more things and all of that. You can write in more things and all that just for time's sake. And then this basically would be, so yeah, since this is a heading, I'm just going to give it that. Remember on when we talked about creating emphasis and alignment. So this is going to be your challenges, or you can call it pain points, you can call it their frustrations, or whatever you want to call it. So what are their challenges? Now, where you can actually pick this from, all right, you can pick this from any question that has to talk about the doing. Remember the doing and all that. Any question that has to talk about what problem they're actually going for. For example, I'll pick this question of challenges now on this person's work from here. Where's that question? I think it was somewhere towards the end. So I'm going to pick up the problems they're actually going through. So I'm just going to list all of them. Slow transfer times. I can see there's a lot of high fees, complex procedures, and all of that. So you can decide to list maybe three, a minimum of at least three. So you find the highest three they're actually talking about that you want to solve. You can't solve every problem, all right? So you can just take three and all that. So you then put in three there. So maybe high charge, let me just say high charges and all that. So you just name three of it. Okay, look for the highest three numbers and all that, and then put. That's how to do that one. Then the next one basically is your goals. So what goals are you trying to achieve, or what goals do they want you to be to achieve and all that? So you then find what goals are they, what do they want basically and all that. You find that from here. So they want something to be visually appealing. I can see from your question, they also want it to be easy to set up and all that. So you can see and all that. So I can then put it, the goals is to make it easy to set up, easy to what did I just say here now? Easy to set up, appealing. Maybe the interface should be appealing and all of that. Then I'll now then put in there to say easy to set up, app to be easy. So please reward it nicely. Don't just write easy to set up. Don't just write high charges the way I'm writing it now and all that. Word it nicely. Okay, don't just give it just like this. This doesn't just make sense. Word it nicely. Okay, I'm just looking at time basically. So that's how to do this one. So I'm just putting easy setup here, but please word it nicely. Don't just write something like this. Write something like this. I will you've not done it rightly. Easy setup. Maybe next one could be what else did I see here? Maybe appealing. Maybe interface should be appealing. Should be appealing. So you just write it nicely. Should be appealing and all that. Okay. Then the next one will not then be your what they need. What are the needs? Now there was a question on this person's work that talked about that I classified that talked about this what improvements or features. So that means what do they need? So you can see I was just looking through, okay, what question basically talks about need, what the users need. And one of the questions, this may not just only be it. If I check my see others, so I can see, okay, a lot of people are talking about better exchange rates, a lot of people are talking about blah, blah. So I just go there and I put that in there and all that. So I just come here and I put whatever that I'm seeing here, the highest three that I'm seeing here, maybe better. Did I see interest rates? I can't remember what I saw. Interest rates. So you just name that properly. So you, like I said, don't just write it in just mere words like that. Word it nicely. If you think the spaces of the box are not enough, increase the size and of everything. And that's how to do your user persona. You're done. And that's how to do user persona. All this can be done within 30 minutes or even less. If you understand how to do your user persona, please pop up a Y on the comment section. If you understand how to create your user persona, please pop up a Y. If you don't understand, please pop up a name. Yeah, Mr. Endwell, your hands are raised. Mr. Endwell. Okay. Gabriella, your hands are raised.
Yes. Remember when you talked about us having, like, if you want to do two persona, you have to do the other one too. So are you going to differentiate it between like the males and the female for the first one?
Yes.
the
So if
boy.
you, for example, want to
Okay.
create two personas, then
Yes.
that means one is a male, one is a female. So that means that's you see that's very tricky now. If, for example, you actually did supposing, for example, you actually did demographic and you actually have gender, right? So that means you're going to filter all what the male people are saying. Then you will not then do for male here. So
Mm,
anything you're going to get in here must be what a man has said, right?
yes.
What they say,
Mm,
what they're thinking, what they're doing, what they feel. Then the second one, empathy map, will not then be for the female. So all
female.
the females.
Okay.
And then you now then create one persona for male, which will match
One
up this
persona.
and one persona for. Does that make sense now?
Yes. Yes.
Great stuff. Mr. Endwell. Mr. Endwell, your hands are still raised. Okay. We carry on then, since we all understand that. Now the third one is basically the affinity mapping. Okay, now let's go see what affinity mapping is. Now, affinity mapping helps you to group and map the different things together. So you've analyzed, it helps you to be able to analyze your survey better. All right, it helps you to analyze them and group them into problems, which the problem is very easy. Just go and look for any question that talks about problem, either they said in qualitative form, they have to write, or in check boxes that they have to fit and all that. So all the problem, I need a minimum. I need a minimum of five, in that one, basically. So that one is very easy. You just pick out the problem and just highlight it. The solution, what are the solutions you're going to give? And then the feature, what are the features you're going to give? Now, this is how you do that. You come here, that's how to create an affinity mapping. So you're going to map, each problem would have a solution, and each solution will have a feature that will solve that. And I'm going to give you at least one example because I wouldn't want to, this person is so lucky. Whoever you are so lucky. You should come and thank me for giving you this expo. Yeah, this is it. Okay. Now, I come here again and I'm going to type this as affinity mapping. Just so I know exactly, label it so I get to know exactly what you're working on. So maps one problem. So one problem will have a solution, and one solution will have one feature to solve it. That's just it. I'm just going to come and create a shape here, a box, maybe something like this. Let me bring it here. Okay. So I'm going to have three. You can see I'm still very cautious about alignment, even I'm not even on Figma. So please always be cautious of alignment. Now, each of these should have different. So problem, well, I'll just give it a red because anything that has to do with red basically is a problem, right? So I'm just going to give it like maybe a red. It doesn't have to be, or I'm just doing that. I'm not saying that that's what it should be. Okay. Maybe anything has to do with solutions, right? It's usually like a green. Let me just give that. And then feature, let me give that maybe a blue. Yeah, or blue or purple. Let me just give it a blue. Is that, yeah, that's this color is fine. Okay. Now, each of these words, you're going to now then, let me just pick one. I don't want to start getting my text left and right. So here will now then the problem. You see this thing you're doing, it will start making sense when you start designing your mobile app. You will start seeing why we are doing this and all that. You'll start making sense because this will start guiding you on the features you're going to create, the problems you're solving. So if someone asks you what problem are you now then solving, you're not just creating a mobile app now for just creating. All right. So that's just the beauty about it. You've been able to analyze your data. You've been able to understand, okay, this is what the users are actually saying. This is what they're thinking. This is what they're complaining. This is what they are feeling. You've been able to get to know the users, so the demographics and all that you're actually trying to solve this problem, to know their challenges, to know their goals, and to know the needs that they're actually looking for. Now, if someone asks you, okay, what are their needs, what are their goals, you know what to say. Now, what are the problems? You've highlighted 5 problems. Each of those problems, you're going to give a solution, and each of those problems has a feature that will solve that. So when you're not then designing for each of those features you're going to create, you know why you're solving that. Does that make sense? Please proper why. If you understand that proper why, if you understand what I just said now. And then this will be features. Let me see if anyone has popped that. Why? Okay, great stuff. All right, we'll move. Now, like I said, name, so you can see each of them have different colors. So whatever color that you put in here will have to be the same color for problem. So I need to see 5 of this, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Let me drag this up to here. This I also need 5. That's 1. So 1 is not even 5, sorry. This 2, this 4 even did 3, 4. Okay. Just for, let me not stress you guys much. At least 4. At least 4. Okay. Let me not stress you guys much. But in the real life, we'll even be up to 10 in the acts of you. So just do 4. Okay. You can see I gave the same color across all of them. Now I'm only going to give one problem, one solution, and feature. I'm not going to go more than that. Now one problem, basically, if I look through, I'm going to just check her problem. So I'll go to the one that talks about her problem. So I'm going to look for, so you look for the ones you know you want to be able to solve. All right. Maybe I can say poor customer care service. I can choose this one, poor customer. That's a problem. And I'm going to come here and then say that one of the problems basically that most people are facing is poor customer service. Now, if you know what solution, if you know the solution to solve this, please unmute your mic and talk. Let's make this interactive. If you know the solution, so someone has said they have poor customer service when there is an app. What do you think as a UI UX designer? What do you think would be the solution? If you know the answer, please just unmute and talk.
Okay, so maybe like,
yeah, Shay, go ahead.
Okay, so maybe a live chat within the app.
That's very correct, but that's a feature.
Oh,
that's a feature.
okay.
So yes, you're right. So that means that the feature would be a live chat. Okay, so that's the feature you're going to create. You know that live chat thing that used to be somewhere around here, like a second on the box chat and all that. That's the feature you will design to put in there. Now, what do you think the solution would be? I think somebody else actually. Let me give someone an opportunity to speak. Michaela.
I was actually going to say the exact same thing as she said, but thinking of solution, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm only thinking of the future. That's the live chat. Yeah.
Merit, what about you?
Okay, first of all, I raised my hand because I wanted to ask you about what about people that do not have gender, female or male, age, geographical location. For
so
the
you
other
don't have it on your survey.
Yeah.
Fictionally just created. That's why it's called a fiction character, just fictionally created. I was just saying for those who actually have, they can actually make use of it. If you don't have, don't worry. That's why it's fictional. Just create anything, forge anything.
Yeah, okay, for this one, what about having an account manager, like to solve the customer service stuff? Having a personal account, like having a personal account manager who you can easily chart contacts or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's yeah. So how would you word it now? That's a very good one. So if one has a poor customer service, so okay, yes, that's a very good one. So we could say assign maybe when for example anyone, so that's something that's a very thoughtful thing. Banks do that, although we sometimes many of us don't even know who our account manager is. So imagine when you now then basically you've signed up into a particular remittance app, and then immediately it assigns you to your account manager. It tells you in case of anything, there's a live chat. And you can actually, you have someone who is dedicated to be able to, an account manager who is dedicated to, respond to you. So that's something new. I'm not sure I've seen it in any app. So yes, I'll put in there. So you can say solution is to assign a account. So that's how to just go about it, account manager. So that's just how to think to be able to do that. Okay, let me just do one more and then we'll call it a day. Yes. Does anybody have any other thing you want to say?
Yes, I wanted to say that can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, I wanted to say that can a solution also be create FAQs? I don't know. And the solution to that
I would still use that as a
as a
feature.
feature.
Yes.
Okay.
So that would now then, the problem would not then be, maybe for example, a lot of people are complaining about how to use the platform. That would be the problem.
Okay.
And the solution is to be able to create maybe a template guide, right? And then the feature will not then
Right.
be the FAQ. So
Okay.
I've given you guys the second one. But I like the fact that you guys are actually thinking on what to do, which is good. Great stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so that's basically, so anyways, I wanted to give a second one, but I think I've already given that up. So yeah, just create, I think I should give you guys 5. 4 is too small now. 4 is too small. Please do 5, because it's going to help you know what you're going to design and all that, to have more things to design when you're designing. Do 5. So give me 5 problems, 5 solutions, and 5 features. It is not hard. You can pick all of this easily, the problems easily, from any question that has got your problem. That's why I kept saying, create questions as well that you can pick out problems and all of that. And then when you get a problem, think of the solution. There are so many I can pick up here. Complex procedures. It could be, I don't want to say anything else, someone's work and all that. So there are so many problems I can pick up here, and then I can actually give different solutions to that. So that's basically every single thing. Let me just close the work. I'm done with this. So that's basically how to get to do that. Now, once you're done, so supposing you're done with your work, you come to the share button, you click you put in my email, which is the Tech Mind Academy and all that. Make sure it's on can edit. All right. I'm not sure it's going to work because it's myself. Make sure on can edit, and then copy the team invite and send to me. All right. So I can be able to see that, and then let me know that you have sent it. Okay. So try and get this done. All these things can be done in 30 minutes. It's not hard. It can be done in 30 minutes and all that. Don't try to wait. I keep saying this. Don't say I'll do it next week. I'll do it tomorrow. Procrastination is the killer of dreams and all that. You procrastinate, you will not end up doing it. There's nothing at the end of it. You spend extra 30 minutes right now that everything is still fresh in your head, and you do this and do it and get it dusted and move over to something new, and you'll be resting and chilling. Then on Tuesday, maybe you can want to present to show me to ensure that you're on the right track. That's why this Tuesday is actually being created. Most of you don't use it. Those of you who use it, I've been seeing, is very effective, because if you've made errors before, you did not, or you thought you were doing the right thing, I correct you on that Tuesday and you get it done and sorted. So please make use of that Tuesdays as well. All right, that's basically your assignment. So your assignment basically is to develop an empathy map based on your research. And I said 3 each for each of those segments, which is 3, minimum of 3. You can please go above and beyond if you want to, please, okay? But at least a minimum of 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here. But I also said, just in case you've got some questions that can't give you the whole and all of that, no problem, but at least put something in each of those boxes. Doesn't mean I want to see one on each. The second assignment is develop your user persona as well, and everything will be from your survey, and develop your affinity mapping as well. Have we got any question, Lola?
Sorry, I wanted to ask about the user persona. Right. So are we? I think I missed something. Are we taking one user and then creating the persona, or we're taking like the male population or the female population and creating a persona based on the majority of the thing? Do you understand my question?
Yes, I understand. Like, I think you got confused when Gabriela asked, when I was talking about 2 personas and all that. So let me start from there. If you, for example, you want to differentiate your male respondents from your female respondents, all right, to get to know what all the males are saying and what all the females are saying, and you're happy to create 2 of these, then that means the image here would be a male. For example, if your first one is a male, will be a male here, and everything you're going to be as a cumulative of what all the males are saying, all right. Then the second one, empathy map, will be for all what the females are saying, and then you do a user persona for what each of them, what all the males are saying here, and what all the females. So that means you have to filter to be able to do that. But if you don't want to go through that, all right, you just want to do just one empathy map for one persona, you can put in any, it could be a male or female or whatever. This is just an aggregate of, regardless of the gender. That's why I say it's a fictional, regardless of any of the gender. Okay, so you can decide to then put in anyone. It could be a male or a female or anything and all that. It can even be an AI picture. It doesn't have to be a real person and all that. Okay, so you can decide to just put in, and then that would answer for everybody, whether you're a male or a female. Like this one, I did it for both, whether you're a male or a female. Like I only just decided to use, though it looks like I'm just using a male person, but it's answering for everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Does everyone understand the assignment, understand every single thing? Mr. Endwell, your hands are raised. I don't know if it's a legacy hand.
Please, I'm so sorry. My system has been acting up since morning. Apologies, please.
No problem.
I don't know if maybe you've already touched on it, and I didn't get it because of the network issues I've been having. I don't know how you were able to navigate the survey to what's it called now? I noticed that you were getting your survey from
Taking that off.
an Excel sheet. So I don't know how you were able to do that. Maybe you've talked about it before I came in, or you did so when the network was acting up.
Let me just pick up somebody randomly. This is not the person that I used.
Okay.
Lola, you didn't give me an access, so you can say I can't actually show using yours.
I
Some of you
already
didn't give me access. That's why I couldn't use you. I had to use whoever the first person I saw that gave me an access. So I couldn't obviously use yours because I should have used whoever I saw first. So this is what I'm trying to say. This is it, yeah. So this is what you get to see from your end. All right. Now I
Yeah.
came to responses. These are responses side. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what I want you to do, and I said the way to be able to export it out, there are two ways. One is through view in Sheets, which is Google Sheets. If I click on this, it will just open a new tab, Google Sheets.
Okay.
Which to me, that's much easier. But if maybe you're used to Excel, because a lot of us are most used to Excel that using Google Sheets, if you look a bit strange and all that, you can decide to now then click on these three dotted buttons and see download responses. If you download it, it will come in as a CSV file, which you can open on an Excel. So
Okay.
you go to your download and you open that on your Excel, and it's still the same thing you're going to see.
Oh, very well. It's clear. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other questions? Lola, your hands are raised. Was
Oh,
that
sorry.
legacy?
Yeah, but like you said, I didn't give you access, but I already gave you access like on that Tuesday. Can you remember? Do I have to give you access again?
I don't know. See, look at it now.
Like
I'm
I'm not
looking at it.
sure because we did the thing together and you
Yeah, I
said I should
know.
give you
That's
access.
as I'm surprised. Did you have to restart? I don't know. You can see now. This
No,
is your work, right?
yeah,
And I don't have access.
I'll check it again.
Yeah, maybe just check it again. Yeah. Okay. All right. So please try and get it done on Tuesday. Any of you who has done yours, I can actually just and go through it. And if you're all good to go, you just rest and chill. From next week, I think next Saturday we'll start designing and all that. Most likely we'll start designing. Yeah, Shay, over to you.
Okay, so my question is based on the tool that we're using for the maps and all of that. So I don't know, from my own findings and research, the Figma has
Yes,
FigJam.
FigJam,
So
yeah.
I don't know, does it do the same thing?
Yes, it does. It does the same thing, but I wanted to teach you guys
Okay.
something else because most people, before FigJam and all that came out, most companies are used to using Miro. So I wanted to basically teach you another thing, just in case they may ask you, okay, what softwares, UI UX softwares do you use and all that. You don't just say, oh, just Figma. So I just wanted to basically, call different things. You can actually say, oh, I am also good in using Miro, because before FigJam came on board, Miro was what a lot of persons were using. Some other persons were using Kaban and the rest of them, but Miro was more popular. But yes, for the FigJam is just it's just somewhere. If you come down to your back to files and all that, somewhere. Where is it again? They rearrange this thing. Okay, just come and just say FigJam. So this is what it looks like. I have to sign in. So this is just this fig jam and all that. But I just feel like, to me, the other one is a bit much easier. But you have, if you want to do it on fig jam, there's no problem. But for the purpose of the assignment, just do it on Miro. But this is just this fig jam. So you can do the same thing here.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, sorry, sir. Please, can you drop the Miro link again, because I'm going through the chat now. I don't seem to find it.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Oh, if I do this, it will give me. Okay, well, it should just be www. Because mine is already logged in. Just www.miro.com. MIRO. Yeah, that's it. All right. Again, I'll see you guys next week, Saturday. Please do well to finish this. In fact, I expect that by Tuesday, all of you should be done and on. Please be joining Tuesday classes. It helps. And if you guys are able to do this, you can then rest. And then if there are any corrections, you get to do them and just wait for Saturday. The Saturday will go intense with the designing and all that. I'll see you guys on Saturday and have a lovely day. And then I think, do you all prefer we do 9 o'clock? Do you all, if we all do 9 o'clock and finish much early? Do you all
No,
agree to
sir.
that?
Yes.
Great stuff. All right. So from now
Yes,
on,
sir.
our classes are 9 o'clock. I'll see you guys. Have another meeting and goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, goodbye. Goodbye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.